to talk about the Super Bowl. I'm going to keep this conversation as positive as I can. And so I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a different tenor than I normally do when it comes to football. So let's go for this. I have to say, I don't watch a lot of football, but I can say this is one of the top three games, or maybe even top two games I've watched. There was a Super Bowl with the Patriots versus the Panthers that was really good old school football. And I just got finished watching the Super Bowl with my family. And I have to say this uh, Tom Brady was flawless, and Patrick Mahomes got completely owned. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers played a perfect running attack. Their wide receivers caught the ball. The laser that Tom Brady threw to Gronkowski for his second touchdown was absolute perfection and flawless. The way they ball control, they only made two mistakes during the game, and that was number one. They didn't score on the 1 yard line, which would have given them a few more points from that 31 points they ended up with. And then there was another. Then the center snapped it over the quarterback's head, which might have given them possibly four more points. Maybe not, but we'll never know. So it could have been even like 42-9 final score, but the final score ended up being 31-9. And like I said, their defense, the way they were double covering Tyreek Hill and the way that they were double covering Travis Kelsey, and you have to be able to adjust and make adjustments and go to second and third options. And Patrick Mahomes started out, I believe, two for his first 12 or two for his first 10, and just looked terrible. They didn't get the running game going. Well, they had the running game go a little bit, but his passing looked terrible. They dug a hole so deep. They never ended up scoring a touchdown in this game. And I can just summarize this by saying that Tom Brady has become, over the last 6 or 7 years, the greatest player of all time by far, by leaps and bounds. And Patrick Mahomes got completely owned, and four becomes six. And what I mean by that, four becomes six, is they said that it was four wins. If Patrick Mahomes would have won, he would have only needed four more Super Bowls to catch Tom Brady. Well, Tom Brady has just ended this possible GOAT conversation because he just went through Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, and Patrick Mahomes to win the Super Bowl. And Patrick Mahomes was supposedly the heir apparent and passing the torch. There is no torch to pass. Tom Brady is the greatest player of all time, period, forever, forever. He might have even won. There was a bunch of arguments that he had a soft division and he was getting all this success because of the Patriot way, and he has proven all these people wrong. Now that he's even on a little bit better team than the Patriots, look what he's doing now. And literally, I think Tom Brady had possibly his greatest game ever, and that could be debated today, and it's just amazing. This game was flawless, absolutely flawless. But once again, four becomes six. Now six. Now Patrick Mahomes needs six more championships to catch Tom Brady, which is near impossible. I won't say impossible, but near impossible. The near impossible. So it's just, I don't think that's going to ever happen. Tom Brady, the greatest player of all time. A couple things I wanted to mention, a couple plays I really enjoyed. Number one, I did really enjoy that laser that he threw to Gronkowski in the back of the end zone. I thought that was amazing. And another thing is, there's a player named Tyrann Mathieu who I was interested in. And I don't know if he has some character issues. Like I said, I'm going to keep this positive. Let's assume he doesn't have character issues. I really like the way he plays. He's a ball hawk. And but he got into Tom Brady's face, and Tom Brady wasn't having any of it. And Tom Brady chased him down, got back into his face. A couple plays later, Tom Brady completely owned Tyrann Mathieu and showed who's the GOAT. Tyrann Mathieu is a stellar player. He's one of the best players in the league. I actually really like Tyrann Mathieu. I don't know about the character issues, but you don't mess with the GOAT, who's Tom Brady, because the GOAT will own any team he faces. And if you remember in the beginning of the season, they'd kind of lost their identity and went 7-5, which I actually didn't know about because I didn't really watch the regular season too much. I only watched maybe 3-4 games all year long, and even just pieces of them. But I did watch almost all of tonight's game, and it was a highlight reel. There were so many good plays. There were so many first downs. And if Tom Brady ends up going 20 for 26, I think he never threw an interception. One got called back, but it was on a tip ball. And, tip ball interceptions don't really count. I think Patrick Mahomes had two interceptions, but one was tip ball. Once again, tip ball interceptions don't really count. But Patrick Mahomes looked like a deer in headlights. Once again, Patrick Mahomes got completely owned. Hopefully, I'm not forgetting anything that I wanted to say, but for Tom Brady to leave the Patriots and go to a new team that had stars and stars want to be around him, and just